Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties. We are getting organized here. It's a Zoom thing. While we're getting ready and letting a couple more people in, I want you to make sure you have enough space to move around safely because we are going to practice movement today.
Okay, so video on if you can, especially in breakout rooms is super helpful. Rename yourself. If you could please mute to reduce background noise while we're presenting, that would be super helpful. Interact however you feel comfortable. So if that's in the chat or raising your hand or just unmuting to share, please do whatever you feel comfortable with. Today's session is being recorded. That's for internal use, and it will be up on the LMS in a couple of days. So you can rewatch the recorded version as many times as you need to, or if you have to step out or miss part of this, go back to see what you missed. And lastly, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you have enough space to move around safely. I will be doing a live demonstration of one of the body connection lessons. This is our first Zoom session. There will be two. The next is in 2 weeks. And we're super excited to have you guys here for this body connection facilitator training. And let's see. Leah's Pantry would like to thank CalFresh Healthy Living Program for their sponsorship in the development of this course. And thank you to all other partners as well for making all of this possible.
Hi. So, yes, I'm Jennifer. I'm a registered dietitian and program specialist here with Leah's Pantry. I do a lot of work like this. I help create curriculum and also do trainings like this with groups like you. And my previous, before Leah's Pantry World, I did a lot of nutrition education in the community, like work that many of you probably do. I also did some work in school nutrition and in food pantries. And when I'm not working, I like to be outside. I like to be at the beach or biking or exploring. I also like to be inside in the kitchen. I love to cook and bake. And I have two young adult sons who didn't express very much interest in cooking when they were younger, but now cook for themselves and sometimes even call me for recipes. And one of my sons made a sweet potato pie for Thanksgiving for his friends, which was very impressive. All right. On to
Nice.
you, Laura. Thanks.
My name is Laura Jones. I'm the Senior Program Manager with Leah's Pantry. I'm based in San Francisco. And I have been working as a public health nutrition educator for over 15 years in a variety of settings, worked with families, with youth, with foster families. Now I work primarily with older adults and adults with disabilities. I have a really large family, most of whom are in the San Francisco area. 10-year-old son, two teenage stepdaughters, and I love spending time at the beach and in the redwoods, all things California. And I used to play in bands, but now I just play music for fun with the kids. So, on to you, Amy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amy, and I'm a senior project coordinator here at Leah's Pantry, and I work across a lot of different teams. I also help with curriculum development and training and the food security team. And I'm here in a technical support role, so you probably have gotten some emails from me. So please feel free to message me on Talent LMS, and I can help out with anything if you have any questions. And in my free time, I really like to travel, cook, bake, and eat.
We are going to try a little breathing exercise. Actually, I can do this now. Let's see. So we're going to do something called 4-7-8 breathing. But first, what I want to do, and this is just to help us kind of regulate and get back in touch with our bodies. We're just going to pay attention to our breathing. So I want you just to breathe in your normal way in a relaxed fashion at whatever pace feels right for you. And try breathing in and out through your nose and just see what that feels like. So breathe in through your nose, breathe out at a pace that's right for you. And see if it feels a little bit cooler when you're breathing in. It might feel a little warmer as you're breathing out. And then go ahead and do the same thing with your mouth. Just try breathing in and out with your mouth. And see if that feels, how that feels. Does it feel a little bit cooler When it comes in, does it feel a little bit warmer on the way out? And now we're going to try the 4-7-8 breathing. So the way we're going to do that is you're going to breathe in on and count for 4, and that's your count to 4. So we don't have to all do it at the same pace. So you'll breathe in through your nose and count 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you'll pause and hold your breath for 7 counts. And then you'll exhale for 8 counts. And again, your counts, your pace, whatever feels right for you. So let's try that together, but separately. So everyone's going to do their own counts, but just breathe in through your nose, hold for 7 counts, exhale for 8 counts, and then try it again. All right, and you might notice that when you're doing a breathing like this, when you do a longer exhale, that helps trigger a relaxation response. So I don't know if anyone felt that. I know I feel that a little bit when I do it. So we're just kind of experimenting here, and we will try some more breathing later on when we practice. So we're going to get started by talking a little more about mindful movement. So that's a phrase, an expression that we hear a lot. We want to hear about your thoughts and your relationship and experience with mindful movement. So you might have a lot of experience with mindful movement. You might not have any experience with mindful movement, and that's fine too. So we're here to learn and try new things. So we're going to go into something called Menti. So you can use your phones or your computers. So Amy dropped a link in the chat, so you can use that link to pull up Menti, or you can use your phone and scan that QR code. And then we're going to have a little interactive discussion here. So either way, you're going to get on Menti and you should see some questions. So the first question is, how would you define mindful movement? If anybody can't get on Menti, please message in the chat and Amy can help you. Right, so go ahead and fill in some answers here so we can see them all coming up. So I just want you to know when you type in your answer, it's going to come up like this on the screen, but it's anonymous. All right, and the bigger the words are, that means more people have typed that in. So we've got peaceful, connection, centered, intentional, grounding, relaxing, thoughtful. So this is what mindful, how would you define mindful movement? That's great. Aware, grounding, thoughtful, connection, intentional. Let me see if I can make this QR code go away. Maybe not. Okay, great. Grounding, relaxing, peaceful for you. I like that. Like it's just for you. Self-aware. Okay, let's present, still, universal. Okay, we're going to go on to our second question. If you practice mindful movement, why is it important to you personally? So again, you can write in your answer here. What matters to you about mindful movement? It reduces stress. It grounds you. Calms my nervous system to counteract dysautonomia. I don't know what that is, but great. Calms your nervous system, centers yourself to be a better person, come back from unwanted feelings, regulates you, gets you out of your head. So important. Deep relaxation. Short circuit the monkey mind. Yes. Grounded, relaxing. There we go. For your mental health, helps me be more present. Exactly. Connects to the universe and a higher power. So we've got connecting ourselves back in our bodies. I think this is interesting. Like some of us, it feels us help be more present and in our bodies, and some people, it helps us connect to the universe, like outside of our bodies, and both are important. It helps relieve stress, reminds us to self-regulate your emotions, relaxed, get you back into the window of tolerance, quiets the noise, take care of yourself to take care of others in better ways. All right, so it sounds like a lot of you have some experience with mindfulness. and you're feeling those benefits, and that's great. So we are going to talk a little more about the benefits of mindful movement in a little bit. But right now, we are going to practice some mindful movement with Laura. So she's going to lead us in movements for week 2, which are the respiratory system. So take it
Give
away.
me 1 second to set up here, you guys. There we go. All right. Is everybody ready to do a little bit of movement with me today? If not, that's okay. You can participate however you want. I just want to make sure, can everybody hear me? Just thumbs up. Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah.
So if anything comes up in the chat, Amy, will you just unmute and let me know? Because I can't see it.
Yes.
Standing. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so body connection, we're going to be doing week 2 of body connection, the lesson from week 2. So we start every week the same way. And first thing, I want to go through our safety reminders together. So the most important thing when we move our bodies is to tune in to how that movement feels in the moment. Really being aware of, does this feel good? Does this feel right for me today? And making adjustments accordingly. Please make smaller movements or circles if you have any joint issues or pain. You are not supposed to feel any pain when you're doing these movements or exercises. So if something starts to hurt, please stop, okay? And make an adjustment to do something that does not hurt your body. This should feel good. Keep a chair or a surface nearby to assist with balancing. Also, if you are not able to stand to do these exercises, that's fine. Almost all can be done from a seated position. So please stay seated if you need to, but we most definitely don't want anybody falling down. So if you're concerned about balance, make sure something is close by to grab onto. And please. Anytime you bend your knees, you want to make sure your knees are tracking in the direction of your toes, but not going over your toes. So you want your backside to be sticking out when you bend down so that your knees are aligned with your toes. And lastly, please pay attention to your body and what it needs. So as I'm sure you all know, every single day is a new journey with our bodies, and some days we can do a lot more than other days. So please just be aware of how you're feeling today and only do as much or as little as feels good to your body today. Next, I want to get into the 3 pillars of awareness. So these we'll come back to throughout the exercises. Something to just keep in mind the whole time, that we want to have a soft breath, a soft body, and soft eyes. And I'll repeat that throughout the movements that we're doing. So first we'll talk about breath. How we breathe has a lot to do with how we move. So I want you to notice your breath throughout all of these movements. And we're going to start with something called the 4-part rectangle breath. And we'll use this rectangle that I'm drawing multiple times during the exercises for this lesson today. So the 4-part rectangle breath will be a 4-second inhale, and then you're going to hold that breath for 4 seconds, then exhale for 4 seconds, and hold for another 4. And then we're going to repeat that 3 times together. So I will count. Inhale, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Great. And just keep that in mind as we're doing the other exercises to try and hold that inhale and exhale in between. Next up, we're going to talk about our soft body. So we want to, for the most part, unless I instruct you differently, you want to keep your feet lined up below your hips like railroad tracks, your hips below your shoulders. So everything stacked. We're going to have a gentle tuck of our pelvis, and you'll just do that by pulling the belly button in gently. Stand up tall. You want to lengthen your spine by reaching the top of your head towards the ceiling or sky. creating space between the vertebrae and the spinal column. Lift the heart. And then we'll lift our shoulders to our ears, roll them back, then drop and relax them down so that they're soft. And we want to keep relaxed arms at our sides with the palms turned slightly forward. And the last part of our 3 pillars are the eyes. We just want to maintain a soft gaze through all of these exercises. So, soft body, soft breath, soft eyes. All right, let's get into our lesson for today. So we always begin with a full body warm up. Reminder, soft breath, soft body, soft eyes. Think to yourself, what part of your body would you like to connect with today? So for me, I always want to connect with my neck and shoulders so that I can release some of the tension going on there. Other people may have other parts of their body they want to connect with today, your heart, your gut, whatever it is. But we are going to warm up that body before we get into the specific system lesson of the week. And we'll start with a full body shakeout. So first, arms at your sides, and we're just going to tap out our heels 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we're just going to do some relaxed, soft kicks with each leg, 5 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to do something called the 8-5-2-1 countdown shakeout. So we'll be shaking out our limbs, arms and legs, first 8 times, then 5 times, then 2, then 1. Okay, you guys ready? Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. The 1 is always very fun. Okay, next we're going to get into our neck rolls and some twists with the body. So you can have your hands on your hips or you can keep them down at your sides. And we're going to repeat each of these movements 6 times. Let's start by looking from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, next up, we're going to be dropping our chin down to our chest and then slowly looking up at the ceiling 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we're going to be putting our ears to our shoulders, again, 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our last neck roll is going to be a half circle in the front. You don't want to go all the way around because you can hurt the back of your neck if you go too far back. So start with your left ear to your left shoulder, and then we'll just do a half circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just a reminder, please do all these exercises at your own pace. You don't have to keep up with me. It's fine if you don't do as many repetitions of the exercises. You just want to make sure it feels good for you. So next up is our spinal twist. So in the spinal twist, your lower body is going to remain stable and not moving. We're just using gentle momentum to move our upper body. And your feet are going to be shoulder distance apart, knees softly bent, that have that soft gaze, have your body relaxed. And we're just going to swing our arms from side to side. So make sure there's nothing right next to you that you could end up hitting your hands against, because that's not going to feel good. And just have your gaze follow the movement. Just wring out some of that tension in your body. Excellent. Now let's loosen up our hips. So hands on your hips. We're going to do hip circles in both directions 6 times. So start one way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to go the other way. Again, if this is uncomfortable at all, please make smaller circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excellent. Great for all of us that spend too much time sitting at our desks. Now let's get into our shoulders. So again, hands on your hips or down at your side. We're going to repeat each of these movements 6 times, and we're going to start just by rolling our shoulders forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now let's roll our shoulders backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to alternate shoulders backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same thing forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to do a full arm rotation. So if you can, put your arms out to the side at shoulder level, thumbs up. If that's not comfortable for your shoulders, it's absolutely fine for your arms to be down closer to your sides. And we're just going to rotate forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to do the same thing backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, how's everybody feeling so far? Any concerns? Any questions? Thumbs up? Okay, great. Let's keep moving. Let's get our knees warmed up a little bit. So again, smaller circles. If this is uncomfortable, it can be done standing or seated. We're going to have our feet no more than shoulder distance apart. Bend the knees slightly. Keep your knees lined up with your toes. Palms on your thighs just above your knees. And we're going to start by circling our knees outward 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to do that inwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we're going to put our feet together, our knees together, bend those knees again, hands on your thighs, and we're going to do synchronized knee circles clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you're doing this exercise standing, I'm always surprised by how much of a quad workout it is, being in that slight squat, doing that. We're going to go into our ankle rock and rolls. So please, if you're concerned about balance, because we're going to be going up on our toes and heels, have something nearby to hold on to, or again, you can do this seated. So first, we are going to go up onto our tiptoes. See if you can see me. Onto our tiptoes as high up as possible. And then we're going to roll back onto our heels, and we're going to do that about 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great. And now we're just going to rock side to side on our feet to roll out our ankles on the sides. We'll do that 10 times. 1, sort of like you're skiing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Amazing. All right. I hope everybody is feeling fully warmed up. Excuse me. We are going to move into this week lesson, which is movements that support the respiratory system. So we're going to focus on breathing and paying attention to our respiratory system. Mindful breathing can help us become more aware of our mood and energy and even the people around us. We can also use it to shift our mood and energy. So I know I've already said it, but what system of the body do we use to breathe? Anyone can throw it in the chat or unmute.
Respiratory.
That's right, the respiratory system. So I want everybody to take a deep breath with your hands. Feel your rib cage expand and contract. So the muscles around our rib cages allow that movement to happen. Along with the airway and the lungs, those muscles are part of the respiratory system. So our respiratory system is connected to our nervous system, and deep breathing can activate the part of our brain that tells our body that we're safe and that not to feel anxious or afraid. So I'm sure you all have taken a deep breath when you were feeling nervous before. So those two systems are very connected. Certain breathing techniques can also build energy and invigorate our bodies and minds. So with our basic breath, the inhale and exhale, we have a lot of control over our body's energy and vitality. When we're extending the inhale, it's more energizing. And when we extend the exhale, it's more calming. So counting the length of the breath, like we did before, 6 or 8 counts, and extending that inhale or the exhale is very effective as a pick-me-up if you're inhaling, or as a calming effect if you're exhaling. So that's why it's really good to practice those mindful breathing techniques if you either need to bring your energy up or bring it down. So reminder, 3 pillars: soft breath, soft body, and soft eyes. And also a reminder, this can all be done seated. I'd first like everybody to take a moment to just notice the room that you're in. Look, listen, smell. Notice any sensations, temperature, textures, the ground underneath your feet, how that all feels. Notice your chest rising and falling and the expansion of your diaphragm and of the belly. And since we will be doing a lot of breathing techniques for this week's lesson, please make sure that if you start to feel dizzy, have a seat or do the entire practice seated. So let's review our rectangle breath. Again, I'm going to be drawing that rectangle. So we're going to inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. We're going to do that 2 times together. Inhale, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Great. And we're going to use that same image of the rectangle for our next breathing technique, which is called the rain stick breath. I don't know if any of you have ever played with a rain stick before, but this breath essentially on the exhale makes a similar sound. So we're going to be inhaling through our nose, holding, and then exhaling through our mouth, making the shh sound. So we're going to do that 3 times together. Same pattern. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Here we go. Inhale, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale. Shh. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale. Shh. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. Next, we will be doing our belly or diaphragmatic breathing. So this type of breathing offers several health benefits to the body, including reducing your blood pressure and heart rate and improving relaxation. It can be practiced lying down, which is great. So something you could even just do while you're lying in bed. So again, you want to keep a soft and relaxed body posture. I want you to place one hand on the upper chest and the other just below your rib cage. We're going to breathe in slowly through our nose so that the stomach moves out against that hand, but the hand on the chest should remain perfectly still. So we're moving that breath down into our belly and out of our chest. Then we're going to gently pull the stomach in while exhaling through pursed lips. The hand on the upper chest is going to remain as still as possible. So let's do 3 breaths like that together. Inhale. So whenever I do that breath, 1, I feel very relaxed afterwards, but 2, I realize how much breathing in my chest I normally do. And then I actually have to make a conscious effort to bring my breath down into my belly and diaphragm. We are going to do a breath called the lip flutter breath. This is a fun one. It's also great for releasing tension in your mouth and your jaw. Just be aware there may be a lot of spit flying out. So hopefully there's not someone standing right in front of you. We're going to breathe in slowly through our nose for several counts, and then we're going to lightly close our lips and exhale very forcefully so that your lips flutter. We'll repeat this a few times. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Nice. I probably need to drink some water. There wasn't as much spit that time as there usually is, but I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about on that side. Next, we'll be doing the rise and fall breath. So for this exercise, I want your feet slightly wider than shoulder distance apart, and your knees are going to be bent over the second and third toes in a shallow squat. But remember, you don't want your knees passing over your toes. You want them just to track right on top of them. We're going to inhale slowly through the nose, then simultaneously straighten the legs and raise the arms up to shoulder height, leading with your wrists. At the end of that inhale, pause. Again, if you have issues with your shoulders or if this is uncomfortable, your arms don't have to come all the way up. Then we're going to exhale slowly, releasing that breath through our mouth while simultaneously lowering the arms and wrists back to your sides and bending the knees and pausing. Then we're going to repeat that a few times and the whole body will rise and fall together. So here we go. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Hopefully that felt good for you all. All right. Breath of Joy. I love this one. It is the most active of all of the exercises in this week's lesson. Should be quick and somewhat energetic movement with synchronized breath. So we're going to stand with feet shoulder distance apart again. Knees slightly bent, arms with palms facing each other. We're going to start by inhaling to a third of our lung capacity and swinging our arms up in front of us so that they're parallel to each other at about shoulder level, keeping those palms facing each other. So again, shoulders, you can keep it lower if you need to. Then we're going to continue the inhale to 2/3 capacity, moving our arms out to the side like wings at shoulder level with the palms facing forward, standing up a little higher. Then we will complete the movement by inhaling to our full lung capacity, raising our arms overhead, slightly in front of the head, with the palms a few inches apart facing each other. And then with an open mouth, we're going to exhale with an audible sound, folding forward, knees bent, allowing the arms to swing down, back and behind you. If you're doing this seated, please, be very careful if you have arms on your chair. You don't want to whack them with your arms as you're moving. So let's start that together. Soft knees, inhale. How'd that feel? I love that one. Need a little movement in my exercises. I really like it. Okay, speaking of movement, the next up is a classic respiratory exercise or cardio exercise, jumping jacks. Everyone has heard of jumping jacks. They are a synchronized, rhythmic, full body aerobic exercises using large muscle groups. Aerobic means oxygen from breathing is used to make energy. Your breathing rate increases or decreases depending on exercise intensity. So you can do full on jumping jacks as quick as you want, or the modified versions, which I'll tell you how to do in just a sec. We'll start with our feet together, hands at the sides, knees slightly bent. If you're doing a full jumping jacks, you would inhale, jump up, spreading your feet slightly wider than hip distance while raising your arms out like a star, bringing them wide above the head, landing your feet softly. And then with the exhale, you jump in again, returning the feet and arms to the starting position, and repeat as quickly as slowly as you want. Modifications. So you can either just step one leg out at a time, still inhaling on the up, exhaling on the down. Or if you want to, you can just raise up on your toes is another way to do this. So if you're seated, you definitely just want to put one leg out at a time while you're doing this. But lifting up on your toes is the other option. So let's do a few jumping jacks together. Here we go. Excellent. Getting our mini cardio in this morning in the body connection. All right, so this is an exercise we call chest percussion. It's a technique used in clinical settings. It has lots of therapeutic benefits for the respiratory system. So what I'm going to have you do is cup the palms of your hand and place one on either side of your left and right rib cage. And we're just going to clap rhythmically up and down the surface of our rib cage and upper chest. And you can do it as hard or as softly as you like. Let's get things moving in here. Okay, now I want you to lift your left arm if you're able to, and with your right palm, we're going to reach across and we're just going to continue that, but up the left side of the rib cage. You can even go up the arm. That feels good. All right, now let's do the right side. All right, now I want everyone to make soft fists, and we're just going to continue working on the rib cage on the back side. And if you can't reach around, don't worry, you can just keep working on the front side of the body. Excellent. All right, so that was our last exercise. So I just want to pop in for a sec before I get to our closing and see if anybody had any questions about any of these movements. Doesn't seem like it. Thanks, Ben.
Laura,
Any
I
of
have a
yeah,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure in implementation. So it's so funny. So in like a yoga class, right? You go through the series and like it's kind of implied that nobody like talks or interrupts the instructor. And then with this, when you guys have implemented it, have you found it more like conversational as you go along, or how has it looked?
I have not had a lot of people start conversations while we're in the middle of sessions, um, because I think people are just sort of trained in a movement class to just follow along.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
as I want you guys to ask your questions about the movements, but then you ask right after, what movements should we do again? So people have an opportunity, if there was something they really liked, to do again in the class. But yeah, I've not had a lot of back and forth while implementing this.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Gloria, did you have a question?
Yes. Can you share more about the chest breathing versus the abdomen?
Sure. So abdominal breathing, you're filling your lungs up to full capacity, so you're getting more oxygen that way. And also that's what helps lower the blood pressure, bring the heart rate down because you're getting that full breath. Chest breathing is typically it's shallow breathing, and so you're not getting as much oxygen absorption that way. Yeah. Were there any of the movements that you wanted to do again, or do you want to move into the closing? How are you feeling? Ashley, yeah.
I had just one more question, actually.
Sure.
My team, we have a lot of Indian international students, and oftentimes when we do movement classes or things where things are pulled from a yoga tradition, but they've been westernized in their presentation, they have questions. And I don't want to offend or misrepresent anything. I'm curious if any of these breathing exercises are pulled from a yogic tradition, and if they have another name, if you're at all familiar, so that I can be prepared to address that.
That I don't know because I did not write the curriculum. I don't know if Jennifer, if you have any more information about that.
I don't, but I can ask.
Okay,
We'll
thanks.
just get you an answer next time.
All right, let's just finish this up and then there'll be time for more questions with me. But closing, so once you have finished all of the exercises, I'm going to ask everyone to bring your hands together and rub them just to build up some heat. And then I want you to place your hands wherever on your body feels like it needs warmth, care, or touch. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and just take a brief moment to notice any sensations in your body. Notice sensations that might be new or different. And I just want to thank you for making a body connection. And that is the body connection lesson. Closing quote for this lesson is breathe in deeply to bring your mind home to your body. Thanks. Glad. I'm so glad. Felt good for me too. Nice perk getting to do some breathing while working. So how did that feel as a participant? Thumbs up. Great. Okay, good. Did it feel like it flowed all right? Were you, I mean, as a participant, it felt good. It's going to feel different when you're leading it. Stimulating, nice. Relaxing, refreshing, calming. Great. Good. Any particular, almost sleepy, nice. Um, any particular movements that you enjoyed? I like that. You like the jumping jacks, Nancy? That's the hardest one for me. The angel one. Great. Yeah, the warm up is really nice. And so you get to do that every week before the lessons because the lessons are very specific to what system of the body that we're focused on, but the warm up is the same every week, which is really nice. All of them, I pop some bones. Nice. Anything that opens up the chest. Yeah, chest and shoulders, I'm always excited to open up. Perfect for beginner. Exactly. There's nothing complicated about the movements in this. 100%. Anybody could do this. So wondering about the hand cupping and whether that was borrowed from Chinese Qigong, TCM, as stimulating body meridians in this way is a cultural practice for some. Probably. Like I said, I didn't write the curriculum, but being in San Francisco, I see a lot of the older Chinese ladies in the parks doing this. So I imagine it was borrowed from that. Tapping the respiratory system. Yeah. Great. Does anybody have other questions about this? I mean, there'll be more opportunities for questions later too. No? Feeling good? All right. Well, we can move on to our little break then, Jennifer. You're muted, Jennifer. Can't hear you.
Yes. Great. Well, I was going to add one comment.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
One thing that I like about I like that the warm up is really like that we relax into it and that it's fairly long. So it doesn't, oftentimes a warm up feels like, let's just do three things and get them over with really fast before we get to the main thing. But here the warm up is like, it has substance and that feels good. I mean, it feels more intentional. And Cynthia's asking when or how can we add a nutrition piece? Thank you for asking that because that is really important. We're going to talk about that more specifically in our next Zoom session. And there is some work in the self-paced B section more specifically about that. So you will get that and some guidance on how to do that. So just hold that thought and I think you'll see it and we'll discuss it more in depth next time. So if we don't have any other questions about movement, and last few minutes, questions about movement, of this particular movement, we're gonna take just a 3-minute quick break. So it is 10:58. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Let's. How many technical issues can I have today? Just a lot. It's 10:58. Let's come back at 11. Let's come back at 11:02. And
Laura, sorry, I thought about a question.
Yeah, of course.
There was one exercise where we did the tiptoes and the heels. I found that would be a bit challenging for the older adults as far as balancing. So other than like grabbing onto something, do you have any other suggestions for modifications?
You can do that sitting down. That one can be done seated very easily. Yeah. Yeah, no, I have challenges balancing with that too, but that's because I want to go all the way up on my toes, but it's a tricky one.
Yeah, I love the constant reminder that you can do it seated or hold on to a chair. And I think that's important and participants appreciate that.
The modification for jumping jacks. So what I was doing before was the standing modification where you just put one leg out at a time, right? But it's the same if you're seated. So if you're seated, you can't stand, you're just doing this 1 leg at a time.
Okay, I hope we are starting to come back. Welcome back. I hope you had a little teeny break there, but that can sometimes help us reset and regulate as well. So what we're going to do next is talk about the nervous system. So you, as I know you noticed, and Laura told us, we've each lesson of the Body Connection curriculum focuses on one of our body systems. So lesson 1 is the nervous system. Lesson 2 is the respiratory system, as we just saw. But our body systems are connected. So even when we say that one lesson is on one system of the body, you'll see that they connect in many ways. So like here, we're going to talk about our nervous system, but you'll see that we end up talking about our breathing, which is our respiratory system, because our breathing affects our nervous system. So I'm guessing that many of you are wondering, how much science do you really need to know to facilitate this curriculum? Some of you probably know more than what I'm going to share today, and some of you may not have very much background knowledge in this area at all, and that's fine. You only need to know enough to feel confident and comfortable facilitating, to answer your participants' really basic questions, and then to say that you'll look for more information if you don't know the answer, and that's fine. You don't need to be an expert. You're not expected to know everything about the nervous system after today's short training, or about any of the body systems. I just want to give you enough background information to feel comfortable facilitating. But let's dive in a little deeper today about the nervous system, because that can help. So the nervous system is our body's control and communication system. It's made up of the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves. And this intricate system allows us to think and feel and move and respond to our surroundings. The nervous system also manages our internal processes inside the body, like maintaining our body temperature and our beating of our heart. So let's look at some of the basic parts of the nervous system. So here you see the nerves in the diagram in yellow. This is a vast network of fibers that carries information to and from all the different cells in our body. We have spinal nerves that branch out from our spinal cord, and then we have peripheral nerves, which are all the nerves in the other places in our body outside of the spinal cord. And these nerves, again, carry the messages to and from the brain and the spinal cord to the rest of the body. So here we have the spinal cord in pink, and this runs from our lower back up to the base of our brain. And again, the spinal cord is where we find the spinal nerves that are going to connect to those outside or peripheral nerves that are shown in yellow. So the spinal cord is that pathway for the messages to travel from the cells in the body to the brain, and then from the brain back to the rest of the body, to the rest of the cells in the body. And then here in pink, we have the brain, and this is our central processing unit, where the brain gets information that traveled from all the other parts of the body, along the nerves, and then along the spinal nerves. And it processes and interprets that information and then sends messages and information back along the spinal nerves to the peripheral nerves, to the cells in the body, and tells those cells what to do. And this happens in just like microseconds all the time through our whole life. And we're, of course, not aware of this happening. It just happens. So for example, if you want to slow down your breathing in like one of these breathing exercises that we've been doing, your brain will send a message to your diaphragm and your lungs to contract more slowly, and then your breathing slows down. But not everything in the body happens voluntarily. There's automatic processes that involve our nerves and our spinal nerves, actions like blinking or our heart beating or our breathing most of the time when we're not paying so much attention to it. Or like if you're exercising, your heart starts beating more quickly, not because you decided and said like, hey, heart, start beating more quickly. It just does it, right? When you need to get blood and oxygen moving more quickly in your body. So let's talk about that breathing now. Most of the time, due to the work of our nervous system, our breathing is automatic. We don't think about it. We don't need the brain to be involved to make it happen. It just happens automatically. But we know that breathing can also be voluntary, because we've just been doing some more voluntary, thoughtful breathing. You can control it. You can speed it up. You can slow it down. You can breathe more deeply, or you can take shallow breaths. We were talking about breathing more deeply through our belly and our diaphragm. You can take more inhales than exhales. You can take a longer inhale or you can have a longer exhale. This kind of voluntary breathing can also be called mindful breathing. And when you breathe mindfully, you're observing your breath, you're noticing its rhythm and flow, you're noticing where you feel it in your body. And mindful breathing allows you to adjust your breathing. And it also usually involves relaxed and slower breathing. So there's a lot of science behind what we put in the Body Connection curriculum, and there's lots of research that points to the benefits of mindful breathing. And you can see some of those research headlines here. And so here's a simple explanation of some of the benefits of that mindful breathing. So there's your nervous system has two main branches. We have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic system is also referred to as your fight or flight response. And the parasympathetic is also often referred to as your rest and digest response. And this acts as your body's gas pedal, that's the sympathetic system, and the parasympathetic acts as your brake. They're both useful, but ideally we want to spend more time in that rest and digest state. So the rest and digest state promotes relaxation, and it's our body's way of recovering from activity and preparing for future needs. And this usually involves slower, more relaxed breathing. So mindful breathing can push on that brake and move the nervous system into a state of rest and digest. So let's look at some of the specifics about how breathing helps us move and keep us into that state of rest and digest. So the air we breathe contains both oxygen and carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide plays a really important part in brain function. So when the amount of carbon dioxide that the brain has access to decreases, the neurons in a part of our brain called the amygdala get more excitable. And this makes us more anxious and more likely to become anxious and more likely to overreact. But when we take slower, deeper, mindful breaths, we can restore or maintain our levels of carbon dioxide in the brain. And that makes our brain feel less excited. And here, when we say excited, we don't mean excited necessarily in a good way, but like more active. And this will help us restore a sense of harmony and relaxation to the body and mind. But deep mindful breathing also increases the amount of oxygen in our brain, and it sends more oxygen to part of our brain called the prefrontal cortex. This is the part of our brain that's responsible for decision making and focus. Deep mindful breathing brings oxygen in the body, travels to the brain, and that helps us think more clearly. So breathing mindfully has a positive effect on the nervous system. It activates our parasympathetic nervous system, which is that rest and digest part. It reduces our stress. It promotes a sense of relaxation and harmony, and it can also indirectly boost energy levels. So remember that 4-7-8 breathing that we practiced earlier. That's an example of a mindful breathing exercise similar to the ones taught in Body Connection. So the breathing exercises, along with the movements in Body Connection, can be practiced regularly, even when we're not stressed, which is really the best time to practice them, when we're not stressed. And we can use those to deepen and slow our breathing and allow our body and mind to get all the positive benefits that come from that relaxing. And so it'll relax and revitalize our nervous system and ultimately help relax and revitalize the cells of our body. So the Body Connection breathing techniques are pretty easy to incorporate into daily life, and that is going to help us nourish the body and the mind. And in the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, breathe in deeply to bring your mind home to your body. All right. It is almost time for you to practice. But first, I want to acknowledge everyone who submitted their practice videos and reflections for Lesson 1, the nervous system. I really loved watching the submissions and reading your reflections, and I wanted to point out a few things that I noticed. So first, I really appreciate that we all have our own ways of teaching and facilitating, and I'm sure you're already seeing that because you watched some of the videos where you saw T teaching it, one of our other instructors, and today you saw Laura teaching, so you've already seen 2 examples. So today, when you go into breakout rooms and have a chance to practice, you're also having a chance to watch other people practice. And so part of that benefit is that it's helpful to see your peers practice, to just see these different styles of facilitation, to learn from those. Those of you who submitted videos, I saw like lots of really great, calm, clear instructions and guidance. So great work. Those of you who submitted the written reflections, that was also interesting. So a few of you acknowledged that it was a little bit hard to lead the activities, that you were relying on the, on the book, or that it, you felt awkward. And that is so normal. And that's why we asked you to practice at home. And that's why we're making space for you to practice here today. So it really does get easier as you practice more. This is not Laura's first time leading those exercises. It takes practice. And several people mentioned that you and your participants laughed at times and that you had fun, or, that it was like it felt a little bit silly, particularly during the tense and release movement. And that's great. Like, and some people said that specifically working with kids felt playful. And this is all great because we really do want to set like a light, playful tone. We want people to enjoy the movement. We don't want people to feel pressured to make the movements perfect. It's supposed to be enjoyable. We want us to connect to our bodies and feel good in it. So again, for the self-paced B, if anyone didn't do this part of the self-paced A assignment where you do the practice activity and either record yourself or write a reflection, you still have a chance to finish that later. And then for self-paced B, there's going to be more opportunities to do this. So if anyone had any challenges with uploading or recording their videos, please stay on at the end or reach out via email and we'll help you with that. Okay, so in a minute, we're going to send you to breakout rooms. You'll be there with like groups of 4, and you're going to practice facilitating the movements from lesson 1, which is the nervous system. So you'll have about 15 minutes to do that. You're going to choose one person to facilitate all 4 movements with your group. You can choose your facilitator when you get into your room. I encourage you to step up and volunteer if you feel like you need additional practice. Reminder, this is like a safe space with no judgment. If your group can't decide on a facilitator, then choose the person who has the brightest color shirt on. Amy just put a link in the chat, so you can open that up. Those are slides that have the movement instructions, so you can look at them there. If you have your instructor guide, it's on pages 29 and 30 of your instructor guide. So everyone should either have your instructor guide or open that link that's in the chat. So you'll be in your group, you'll pick a facilitator. That person will lead the group in movements. Hopefully you can turn on your cameras and follow along with those movements. If you have time, well, actually, when your person is done, when your facilitator is done, then I'd like everybody to go around and say one thing that the facilitator did well within your small group. Then if you have time, assign another person to facilitate the same 4 movements. Do it again, and then go around again and say something that you liked about what your facilitator did. When we come back together in this large group, we're going to ask a few of you to share a little about your experience, so be prepared to do that. And then Laura and Amy and I might pop into some of your rooms to see how you're doing and see if you have any questions.
Our facilitator was Jennifer, and there was one motion that she did was tense and release. She was real welcoming, first of all. So it was just, she had a refreshing attitude. And also the movements were super calming. I wouldn't mind for using it in facilitation. However, it was really good for me because I was super tense coming into this meeting. And as I started the breathing technique, the tensing and releasing, it was super comfortable, and it relaxed me. So she did a fantastic job. I appreciate it.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's something that some of the people who wrote reflections in the self-paced A work said that they felt the effect on their body as well. So just like, this is a bonus, you think you're doing it for your group of participants, but you're going to feel it yourself as a facilitator. So it can help ground you in your, connect you to your body, help calm you, relax you, and make you more present as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks. So what about our facilitators? Does anyone want to chime in about how it felt as a facilitator?
It looks like Gloria has a question or has a hand raised.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, hi, thank you. In our group, we decided to take turns in having each member of our group read through an exercise and facilitate it. So we all got to practice. And what we learned was that we feel a lot more comfortable when we know what we're doing ahead of time and we're prepared. So definitely, it's something that feels good and we would be able to convey that to the participants. One thing that we did discuss, Vladimir, you can chime in, was that as facilitators, maybe just personally, we're curious about the background of this practice and if there is something in the workbook that has more information other than the nervous system and how that is activated. Just like the history, because we've heard and been taught differently, but like where does it come from kind of thing?
In terms of not the science of the nervous system, but where the actual movements came from?
Yes, tapping.
Particularly in specific, the tapping? Okay, I will look into that. I don't know offhand.
I think to add on to that, Jennifer, I feel like it's come up in a bunch of us, like almost like, when you write a curriculum and like these are our main sources, like I feel like if you guys have that, then it would help me know where it was pulled from where. And not, I like trust everyone who wrote this 100%. It's not like from there, it's just like because it's such a new form for me, like I can't like I'm like, okay, yeah, let's see, but like to know where it came from. And it's not for lack of trust or at all.
No, I understand, right. And saying that because this is new, and
Yes.
not understanding it, right. And they are movements that do come from, like when we talked about the percussive movements of the respiratory part, like that is something that's used clinically. Like, these are tested movements that have been practiced and used by many other people, but to have more information backing that up. I will see what, yeah,
We also had oh, sorry, Amy, go ahead. I've
No,
already spoken.
no. I was just gonna say to Kristen, we do actually have a list of resources, and I believe the instructor guide in the front pages. I'm gonna try to find the exact page for you though. I don't know if you have access to a physical copy of the instructor guide.
We signed up for it to be delivered to us, but it hasn't arrived. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
We
But
also
you have digital access to it.
yes.
So, in your digital curriculum, there should be, yeah.
Yeah, just a comment. I mean, those resources are kind of like general overviews. They don't really talk about the specific movements necessarily.
Okay.
We were wondering about the different effects or benefits of the different modalities, the light tapping versus the harder fist tapping.
Oh, in terms of this one, the raindrops, snowflakes, thunder taps, is that what you're referring to? So I mean, I think they all activate, those are your pressure points, and all of any touch on them activates them, but we only want to do things that feel comfortable in our body. So I don't think it's like more is better. It's the touch that feels good in your body is what's better for you. And all of them work. All right, but I hear your questions, and I appreciate those, and we will look into that and see what other additional resources we can provide for you. Any other questions or feedback, things that you learned from
Jasmine.
Gloria? Something?
Hi, good morning. I wanted to say a little bit about how the facilitation went for me. It was really nice to, first of all, I had the brightest shirt, so it's really awesome. I like how my group was engaged and they were doing it with me, but then after the conversation it was nice to see that I had my group members doing it alongside with me. But after we wrapped it up and we were having a discussion a little bit about, sometimes you're not always going to have that participation, whether it be like with youth or adults that you might not have them participate with you, but at that point you want to keep going, right? Even maybe they'll try later, or maybe they're not comfortable enough yet, but always pushing through that part.
Great. Thank you for sharing that.
I also found that if we invite them to close their eyes, like nobody's looking at each other, that could also work sometimes.
Good tip. Yes. Just as we said that you can have, we would like to see your faces on camera, but if you don't want to, that can make it more comfortable. Ask people to close their eyes or lower their gaze. And because it's really not about how we look to other people, it's what we're feeling inside, and closing your eyes can help with that. All right.
Janice?
So we all, there are 3 people in a group, and so we all participated. So we were all facilitators. And the question that I asked, which was of the 4 movements, which one was enjoyed most? And one of the participants said she liked the tense and release. It was helpful. It's helpful since she works, with children, when kids, little children have tantrums. So it was, very helpful. So I thought, it was pretty good. Yeah. And I guess something that, we can learn as, parents with young children who throw tantrums.
Right. So this can be really helpful in that to help children learn how to regulate their bodies and their emotions. And also adults, we might not have the same kind of our tantrums don't look the same, but we experience those kinds of emotions, and this can be helpful for us as well. Anyone else? Laura, what do you think? We have time for the 3 R's?
I think so. I think we can do the 3 R's.
Let's do it.
Okay, great. You want to stop sharing? There we go. Okay. Just 1 second here. And great. Can you see my screen over there? Yep, thumbs up. All right, great. So I want to talk about the neurosequential model, also known as the 3 R's, which stands for regulate, relate, and reason. And we touch on this in most of our trainings. So some of you may be familiar with this, but since we are a trauma-informed organization, we feel it's important to discuss. And I'm then going to highlight ways that we tie the neurosequential model into the curriculum of Body Connection and its elements. So this is called the neurosequential model of engagement. It was developed by Dr. Bruce Perry. It demonstrates how external sensory information is processed in the brain from the bottom up. At the bottom, we have regulate. This is the first part of the brain that asks ourselves, am I safe here? So if we don't address this foundation of safety, it's going to be hard for people or participants at our workshops to be present, let alone to be able to learn something new. Next is relate. This is the emotional area of the brain that looks for connection or feeling included within a group with the presence of positive experiences. So before anyone can really take in new information, they need to feel like they matter and there's some kind of connection. And then at the top is reason and reflection. This is the area of the brain where our decisions are made. It's where skills and knowledge are accessed and where thinking, planning, learning, and behavior change take place. So to sum up the neurosequential model, if people are not regulated, it's going to be really difficult for them to relate and reason. So let's dive in a little more to how each part of the model relates to Body Connection. Sorry, one sec. There we go. Again, here at the base of this triangle, we have regulate. This is all about helping the body feel safe through all the senses. So if we skip this step, imagine how difficult it's going to be for participants to stay present, let alone learn something new. So when we're not regulated, our bodies and mind go into survival mode and our fight or flight or freeze responses are activated. So why is this important? Body connection is centered around mindful movement, which is one of the most powerful ways we can regulate. With movement, we can feel more energized, our mood improves, we even sleep better. There are so many benefits. Additionally, body connection has a focus on breath in each lesson, which is also a major contributor to achieving regulation in our bodies. So the combination of movement and breath to activate all of our senses sets up our bodies to receive information and engage in new activities. So here's one way that regulation shows up in body connection, the 3 pillars that we talked about. Each lesson begins with the starting movement and establishes the importance of soft breath, soft body, and soft eyes. It becomes a way to establish alignment and awareness in one's body. Another reason why it's also important as the facilitator to lean in on the 3 pillars is the repetition aspect, which is also very helpful for regulation. Because of its presence and consistency throughout the lessons, it becomes predictable, safe, a pattern. There are no surprises. This is something participants can become accustomed to and feel comfortable with over time. So now let's move into relate. This is the part of the brain that thrives on the feeling of being connected to others, to themselves, and to the world around them. So why is this important? Body connection encourages participants to explore the connection into themselves through movement, bringing a strong awareness to what they're feeling, experiencing, and processing in their bodies as they're moving throughout the lessons. Body connection also encourages autonomy, the freedom to make choices for themselves, by fostering an environment where participants can choose how they want to participate. For example, you may have participants who don't want to stand or who are not able to stand. They can participate by sitting in a chair, or as you were just saying, some people who don't want to participate at all, but knowing that maybe they're absorbing what they're seeing and might practice or try it at home. So you might also find that your body connection participants may be trying some of these movements for the first time. So this shared experience among them of learning something new as a group allows for a special connection with one another. So here's one way relating shows up in body connection. During the closing segment of each lesson, there's the feedback and rewind where participants are asked if they have any questions about the movements. And then they're asked if they want to try or do any of the movements again as a group. So this short closing section is valuable because it gives participants a chance to contribute what they're experiencing and the opportunity to feel seen, heard, and valued. Now let's talk about the last part of the brain, which is reason and reflection. This is where all the cognitive things take place, all the thinking, planning, learning, and behavior change happens here. One way reason shows up in body connection, each lesson reviews a body system. So the introduction provides background information to the part of the body being explored. Then the movements for each lesson supplement the information they've been introduced to. It's during this time participants are able to take in and explore knowledge and discover a new awareness to how it connects to their bodies. And so let's go back to this slide. As I mentioned earlier, the neurosequential model is a framework for us to use to help people understand and internalize new concepts. And if people aren't regulated, they won't be able to relate or reason. This really ties together the importance of addressing how we as compassionate facilitators can be aware of how we're engaging our participants and creating an environment that's supportive to their learning. So that is our overview of the 3Rs neurosequential model. And I just want to throw out one more time if people have any questions or comments or would like to share at this point. Oops, I just lost everybody. There we go. Anything? No hands? Okay, great.
I do have a question. Is this neurosequential model in one of our books to review?
I don't believe that it's in the book, Jennifer, but is it in any of the self-paced course?
I'm pretty sure it's not in the book, but I do think it's in the self-paced course, and I'm going to look right now.
Okay, Jennifer, we'll look and get back to you in one
Okay,
moment.
thank you.
Yeah. There's lots of videos online of Dr. Bruce Perry also that you can watch just for more feedback about the 3 R's in the neurosequential model. Any other questions? Okay. Well, if you haven't completed self-paced A, you can still do that. In section B of the self-paced course, you'll continue to review lessons and movement videos, explore body systems, which are optional videos that are included, and then prepare for practice facilitation. And in our second Zoom session, you'll participate in a live demo from the Kids Body Connection. We will practice facilitating lesson 6, the musculoskeletal system, in the breakout rooms. We're going to look at some best practices and tips for planning your workshops. And then we'd love it if you prepare by completing the self-paced section on the LMS and preparing to facilitate that live practice of the lesson like we did this week. We'll be doing again in 2 weeks. So from there, if you have any other questions, please message us through Talent LMS. Be sure to mention the course name. We'll also be hanging around for a few minutes here if anyone would like to stay behind to ask us questions. If not, you are free to go. We want to thank you again for your participation today. It's been really fun, and we hope you all have an amazing rest of your day.